Hey everyone, and welcome to this video on Aquarius rising in love. This video is for you if you're an Aquarius rising and you want to know about love based on your astrology chart. We're going to talk about your relationship needs based on your rising sign, the ruler on your 5th house, which is Gemini, and your 7th ruler, which is Leo. So we're going to get all into what this means for you in this video. I'm Cassandra, and welcome to my channel, SaffronSage Astrology. For Aquarius rising, the rising sign of Aquarius means that the way you meet the world, the way you see the world is through ideas and being different, being unique, thinking a little bit differently, and being outside the box. So what this means for relationships is that you may find that you're happiest in relationships where people let you be yourself. There's a real strong need for freedom and communication for Aquarius rising, because whatever your rising sign is, the sign on your 5th house is also that same element. So that brings a need for air being communication. Now for you, the signs there is Aquarius, your rising sign, which is all about big picture thinking. There is a bit of a detached tendency for Aquarius, which means that you may want a partner who doesn't need you to be super, super close or super, super lovey-dovey. And we'll talk more about that sort of opposition to Leo, and Leo being the sort of not always close, but like Leo being engaged with life. And Aquarius being more the one who disengages and needs to step back and either work behind the scenes or take breaks away from the crowd, away from the collective, while at the same time needing to be connected. So Aquarius has a unique sort of contradiction just in their sign already, because it's the sign of the collective, humanity, but it's also the sign of detaching. It's ruled by Uranus, who, was like in love with the earth. So the story goes, and the earth had kids, and the kids castrated Uranus, and then Uranus went up into the sky. So there is a wound for Aquarius people around feeling needing to detach from painful situations, in love especially. So if you resonate with that, well, then that's a part of the mythology of your rising sign. So let's talk about what it means to have Gemini on the 5th house cusp. The 5th house is the house of dating and fun and flirting, and you have Gemini here, which means wherever we have Gemini in our chart is where we need diversity, where we tend to do a little bit of hopping around, going from one to the other to experience a little bit of this and a little bit of that, which means you could have a diverse dating life when you're younger. You may not have a type, or you could find that you dated this kind of person, then this totally different kind of person. And, this can show up in sexuality as well, because that 5th house rules sexuality. This is going to depend on if you have planets here, but I would say Aquarius rising could potentially be one of those signs that is happy or not committing because of the freedom that Aquarius needs to be weird and different and unique, and the diversity Gemini needs to just get different experience. This does not mean if you're married, you should go get a divorce right now. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Leo on that 7th house does still give you the potential to commit, having a fixed sign on your 7th house. So if you just felt like, oh no, I'll never be able to commit, that's not true. But if you are someone who's like, why can't I commit? Well, this could explain a little bit of that. So having Gemini on that 5th house does really, really mean that communication in relationship matters to you a lot. You may find when you're dating that you're the one who's asking all these questions, like, what do you do? These quick little easy to answer questions. You may not need to go deep with someone. And, this is something about Aquarius that I noticed just based on the placements is that, I would not consider Gemini or Leo or even Virgo, which you have on your 8th house, to be signs that require a lot of depth, which means you're not going to need to know your partner's greatest fears in life. You're not going to need to know all their childhood trauma. You might not care about any of that stuff. You just want to be able to show up and have a conversation and have it feel good. And that's what Aquarius rising needs. is to show up, have a conversation, have it feel good, be able to go off on your own or detach in the ways that you need to without them flipping out about it. So you kind of need someone who doesn't need as much closeness. So now let's talk about having Leo on that 7th house cusp. This is who you attract: people who are entertainers, people who are in the limelight, people who are the star of the show, the center of attention, the life of the party. And you might just really like those kind of people. And the thing is, when it comes to our descendant, opposites attract. So that Aquarian nature of being behind the scenes sometimes, needing to not always be on stage or not always be the center of attention, having someone else be that, it kind of can be a need in your chart, a need in your life, to have a partner who you find entertaining and engaging, who, it's like Aquarius makes you more observational. It makes you more of an observer naturally. Keep in mind other placements can mitigate this, but that means that what are you going to attract? You're going to attract people to observe, people to watch, people to be witness to. And it's almost like if you met someone and they just were like listening to you the whole conversation, this would be the worst thing ever, because you're curious, but you want them to bring something to the table. Now, there are people out there who they could talk for the whole date and the other person could just listen the whole time. I feel like most Aquarius risings, this really depends on a lot of other stuff, but it's like you would rather have someone who's telling you a joke than you have to tell them a joke. Let me know in a comment below if that resonates. To go further on this, we're going to look at where is the sun in your chart, because that's going to tell us more on the story of what you need in relationships. So let's say you have the sun in the 8th house of intimacy. Well, this is probably going to bring that deeper need for deeper connection that I said you didn't need earlier. So that'll mitigate that and give you more of a potential to have that closeness, because people with sun in the 8th house, they can match souls with someone immediately. And so this is where we have to look at everything in the chart. Let's say that sun is over in the 12th house. Well, it's going to be hidden over there. And so this could be secret lovers. This could be like you want your partner to be someone that no one knows, or you have experiences with relationships that people don't know about for some reason. Let's say that sun is in the 4th house. That's a more private house as well, but it's also, you're more likely to be able to commit. There's more of a need to have a partner who, brings you up or cheers you up when you're at home instead of out and about. If it's in the 11th house, well, that's going to put more of an emphasis on the social life and what you guys do together. Maybe your friend becomes a lover, or lover becomes, brings you in contact with new groups of friends, things like that. So then we could look to see, well, where is Mercury, to find out more about that 5th house, and if it's like, let's say you have Mercury on the ascendant, well, then you're going to be more likely the person who is going to do more of the talking in the relationship, because Mercury on the ascendant tends to talk about themselves more. They'll talk about things related to the sign. And so for you might talk more about the collective and your dreams and how you want to help the world in the future. And so you'll need a partner who wants to listen to that and share in your vision of the future. So we could go even further and look to the aspects of the sun and the aspects of Mercury to see what is happening in your love and what you really, really need all together. So if you want to go further with me, you can actually book that video. It's called the Ideal Love Profile, and it's a 10-minute pre-recorded video by me on the specific aspects of your chart for relationships. So click the link below to get yours, and let me know in a comment below if this video resonated. I always love hearing from you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.